Hello and welcome to Women's Football Talk. Today we are continuing with our WSL preview of each of the 12 teams, and today it is the turn of Crystal Palace. The newly promoted side will be playing in the first tier of English football for the first time ever after a phenomenal season in the Women's Championship last season. So Laura Kaminski's side are obviously in for a hard job this season. As we've seen over previous years, the newly promoted team always seem to struggle to get results going, and in the past couple of years we've seen them ultimately get relegated back down to the Championship. But obviously Laura Kaminski's side will be hoping that they can break that and be a team that stays up and then becomes a consistent WSL side in the future. So just a look at Crystal Palace on a whole. Obviously last season they were absolutely phenomenal throughout the whole Championship season, led by Elise Hughes, who scored so many goals for them last season and was the top scorer in the Championship. However, she will miss this season due to an ACL injury, so for her sake she'll be hoping Crystal Palace can stay up in the WSL at the end of the season so that she has a chance to prove herself in the top tier of women's football. They've made some additions this summer. We look at the likes of Josie Green and Katarina Vaya who have come in, India Page Riley as well as Ashley Weirden, just to name a couple of them. It took them a bit of time to get some business done, but now they seem to have picked up over the last month and a half, 2 months in the summer window, and I like the business that they have been doing. They've been quite sensible with their transfers, haven't gone out and just signed players for signing players' sake. In some players they've got WSL experience in the likes of Vaya and Josie Green, and then have added players that will help them throughout the team, and I think they're just really smart pieces of business that Kaminski and the Crystal Palace board have put together, and I think that could actually help them do well. Obviously, how well and how long will it take some of these new signings to adjust to how Kaminski plays and how Crystal Palace line up in the WSL and against the rest of the league? It's obviously going to be a bit of time to tell, but that for Palace's sake they'll be hoping they can get that done quickly. In terms of just looking at the wider picture for Crystal Palace and how they should be setting up against the teams that are lower half, they've got to be looking to get results as often as possible, and then maybe try and nick something off last season's top 4 or 5 teams. Obviously it's going to be a lot harder to do that. You're going to go to the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal and both Manchester clubs and probably end up losing, but if you can put in a hard fight and even shock them by getting a draw, that is something you have to take as a positive. But in terms of the rest of the league, you've really got to be looking to take results and do it early on in the window, because otherwise it will come back and bite you if you're not taking these results quickly enough. Because if you're not amassing the points early on in the season, you could be at a point where Christmas is here and they haven't got any points in the table, or on a very small amount of points in the table, so it'll be very hard for them to do anything. Obviously first up for them is an away trip to Tottenham Hotspur, so again it's not an easy start to life in the WSL, but it is something that they will be hoping they could do well, and obviously it's going to be really tough ask for them to get something away to Robert Villaham's side. So just have a look at some of the players. A standout new signing obviously for me it is Katarina Vaya. The Danish defender joins after leaving Everton, but will add massive experience to that backline, help them out massively. A lot of inexperience in that team in defence. Despite missing 9 games last season, Vaya, I think, will be an absolute key part for Kaminski and Crystal Palace's defence this season. So expect her to be very vocal in that backline, showing her leadership qualities and showing why Crystal Palace bought her in from free agency. Player to watch is Annabelle Blanchard. The 23-year-old is an important player for Crystal Palace, helping them with 18 goal contributions last season, with 11 goals and 7 assists in 19 appearances. So that is absolutely phenomenal. A goal contribution every other game for Crystal Palace. If she can do that type of goal quality, maybe not to the same numbers, because obviously the golfing quality in the Championship to the WSL is obviously still quite big, but if she can put up some similar numbers to like a goal and assist every other game, then Crystal Palace should do really well, and I think she's going to be someone that will get a lot of fans excited this season. And then the breakout young player Abby Larkin, I mean, she's making a name for herself already at just 19 years old. Already got 18 caps for the Republic of Ireland senior side. Moved to Crystal Palace in January after playing for Glasgow City, where she was only there for 6 months after being really impressive with them. She managed to get 9 goals in 16 games in all competitions. She is going to be a player for the future. And I think it wouldn't be surprising if maybe in a year or two, if Larkin, regardless of how Crystal Palace is doing, is at another team in the WSL, because she is such a really high rated potential player, and I think one that can do a lot of special things. But overall for Crystal Palace, they've just got to go into this season with a lot of hope and a lot of belief that they can do something, and not be afraid to get the results when it comes to getting them. And obviously if they can cause some upsets along the way, just do it. But enjoy. It's going to be a long season, your first ever in the WSL, and you've just got to take it for what it can be. It's going to be hard at times. There's going to be times you're thinking, oh, I wish we were back in the 2023-24 season, because we're getting absolutely hammered left, right and centre potentially. But Crystal Palace have just got to stay firm, stay strong as a group, and believe that they can get some results here and there. And yeah, I think that is it for this preview. We'll continue our previews tomorrow and the rest of the week. Make sure you like and subscribe so you never miss out on any of the videos that we're posting. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at WF Talks and Instagram Women's Football Talk, all one word, for all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football. And follow us on Substack as well, womensfootballtalk.substack.com, for all the latest articles and pieces around the world of women's football. In the meantime, we'll see you soon.